Alrighty, welcome back everyone. It is LaughNgamez here. Today I'm back with another Starcraft 2 1 versus 1 replay cast. Now, you might see this player in this game and be thinking, what year is it? Because we actually have a replay from featuring a recently retired, well, I guess not too recent anymore. Anyway, the Red Terran, it is QXC, so apparently he brushed the dust off his mouse and keyboard and decided, alright, I'm gonna play some Starcraft, and it should be a good match here as he's going up against Liquid Snute. So we're gonna see if this retired pro can go up against Snute. It should be a good game. I heard it was, so we're gonna see how it goes here. Alright, so QXC, just standard openings for these players. Now this is the map Paladino Terminal. My intro was a bit jumbled and I didn't mention that, but this is one of the maps which rushes can be more common here, and we see Snute opening what looks just to be safe with the spawning pool first, so he's just playing it safe, whereas QXC is just going for sort of a, looks just to be a gas expand here. Or a Reaper expand here. So it's going to be interesting to see if QXC is sort of up to date on the latest styles. I mean, he was always a player who would just sort of make a lot of bio and try to kill the Zerg. So we're going to see how he'll do here up against Snute. But yeah, fairly standard openings from both these players. Nothing too special or crazy. No Ravager Rush from Snute, which is common on this map. No Reapers from QXC. So both these players just going to be playing towards a macro game. Nothing super greedy, so both players just sort of playing it standard and safe. Snute opted for the bit safer expansion option, which no one can blame you on Paladino Terminal, which is a map in which it's 2 racks. And then it's QXC, so you don't know if he's just came back to cheese everyone and then leave again, so who knows. So Snute coming in with his Overlord, gonna see the CC, just feel safe, likely just then go into his normal macro build. QXC going for a Reaper into a Barracks here. No Factory from QXC yet, so this is sort of where it's a bit different in the meta, going for this Marine before the Factory, whereas most players these days just go right for the Factory. So here we see this Reaper, it's going to kill off one Ling, it's going to try and kill the other. Snute did get that early pool, and now QXC, that sort of put the fear into his heart. He throws up a bunker immediately. We'll see if he cancels or salvages that later. Another bunker. Okay, so QXC is expecting some aggression here, so... But there is none coming. Snute's just happily macroing right now. QXC might see that and cancel these bunkers. Factory on the way for QXC, though. The bunkers are canceled. He sees that there's no further aggression coming out of Snute. We see this Reaper trying to get a drone here. Great Reaper control out of QXC, getting so many to the red, but nothing killed yet. He might dive on in later to try and get something. As this is a map in which you can sort of dive in from one of these angles, or you can jump up the cliff, and the drones are really close to the cliff, so it's always possible. QXC just macroing away now, getting up his CC here. This Reaper also just poking, trying to get something then, but it's not going to achieve too much from the looks of things. Scouting that there's no third base. We got these drones coming out of Snute 7 right now, so he's just macroing up. He's very content. Snute is a solid macro player, so we're gonna see how it goes. QXC, the Reaper's trying to pick off a drone or two here, but there's so many for this Reaper to choose from. Doesn't quite get one. Snute saves it by turning it into that Spore Crawler there. So another weakened drone joins all the other workers here. Now Snute's been playing this game incredibly greedy here. Well, I guess he got a full scout, so he felt safe, but he is literally, these are literally the first Lings he's made besides his first 2, so he was very confident that he was just going to be safe here. QXC is now getting out 5 Marines and a mine. It could be a Medivac drop here. This is sort of an older build, but something that can still always get damage done here. Snute getting up the third base, but not super quick, as he did take that safer opening here. And now he's going up to double Evo, so it looks like Snute's just happily macroing away here, and we're going to see if QXC can sort of get an advantage in this game here. Viking for QXC, going to want to clean out that Overlord, and you certainly can't blame him. On this map, Overlords can just sit right in front of the Terran space here, so it's always nice for Terran players to clear that out. Now we see this drop for QXC. It's moving in. He's going to put some pressure onto the third base. This Widowmine's going to be able to burrow. We're going to see if Snute will just sort of eat this shot. The Ling's getting on top of the Marines, but that Trader Mine kills off 2 of the Marines there. And now we see 3 Marines just getting into there. QXC not getting much damage done with this drop. And Snute's drone count is starting to explode. He's beginning to saturate his third before it's even built. He's getting his 1-1 upgrades. QXC's are going to be on the way, but they're certainly going to be later, as he is just starting his engineering base here. More racks on the way for QXC, so it likely is going to sort of change into that large bio push from QXC, if I had to guess what he's going to do. But really, since he's a player who's not necessarily playing all the time anymore, it might be a little bit, it might be sort of an old strategy here. We're going to see. Alright, so Stim on the way for QXC, so he's just macroing up right now. He's on 2 bases. Snute doesn't actually get a confirmation. One of his Lings ran in there, but didn't actually see whether QXC had a third on the way. So QXC is going to be gearing up towards this heavy 2-base bio push. Actually, he does have a third. Okay, pardon me. I looked for it, but it was already landed, so regardless, QXC, he's going to be macroing up, going to be going into bios. I'm sorry, I'm completely blind. I did not see that CC go up. Lair on the way for Snute. Now Snute's tech is not very quick. It's the 6-minute mark. He's getting his upgrades on the way, but his lair is late because he did just want to go into that solid economy here. Snute, a player who is very confident defending with just queens and a handful of units. Now going into roaches here, I guess for the defense from any bio push from QXC, and then going into Lings, as he does have that melee upgrade on the way. QXC dropping there, cleaning up this Overlord. Another drop here is landing on top of some of these Lings, trying to push them out. QXC certainly is staying active out on the map right now. We see these 3 Marines are going to try and pick off a couple of drones here. Only going to get one of them though, and then they're going to have to get out of here. Stim is not done for QXC, so he's sort of limited as to what sort of damage he can get done right now. Moves into the 4th, sees there's no 4th, at least at the south location right now, and he's going to be moving into this drop, but these queens are here ready to intercept. QXC is dropping. He needs to get out of there, boost away. Losing only 2 Marines, but that could have been oh so much worse. These 3 Marines decided to fight a couple of roaches, but they are going to lose that battle. That medivac, the 3 Marines are now dead, but I don't think that's going to deter QXC from trying to go for a bio push right here. He may just knock down the rocks here, or he may knock down the rocks here, or he may go around the rocks, but either way, it's looking like QXC is building up for heavy pressure. This is also a nice wall from QXC, going to prevent later run-bys, as the natural base is very well defended for the Terran player on this map. However, the third base can always be vulnerable, but QXC taking care of that. This drop for QXC is engaging these Lings, but it's losing out. Both players are on 1-1, but here we go. Snute is getting up to his Infestors right now. So Snute gonna have that sort of very scary late game Zerg army, the Roach Ravager Ling. These Lings are running forward. That Widowmine is very well hidden, burrowed inside that vent there. That's very hard to see though. So QXC going for another drop. Snute doesn't have these mutas on the way, as he is playing this heavy Roach Ravager Infestor style, so he isn't able to punish the drops as heavily. So QXC may be able to find some room here. Versus a player of Snute's caliber though, it will be very tricky. Dropping these Marines sort of in anticipation for a 4th base right now, but Snute did take the southern 4th base. QXC is forced to get out of there. He's going for a drop into the main base, but Snute is going to be there and waiting. QXC is not getting much done right now. These Marines are moving in, intercepted by roaches here. QXC is having a tough time getting any damage done right now. However, these Marines are trading with these roaches. Snute not having enough there to clean it up, so that is a positive trade for QXC right there. This Viking did end up getting 2 Overlord kills. QXC heading into his 2-2. Snute's +1, +2 Carapace is going to be ready before, but there will be a window in which QXC has a slight unit upgrade. Snute's getting Ultralisk on the way, but it is going to be a while before they're done, so QXC may have a window with this 2-2 timing before Ultralisk have Chitinous Plating, before Snute has all of his heavy upgrades right now. You see siege tanks 2 at a time on the way for QXC here. He's deciding this is what I'm going to play with. This is how I'm going to win this game. Hopefully he doesn't still think that they can be picked up. That would be very unfortunate for QXC. But here we see another drop for QXC. It's getting on top of these queens. Snute relying on these queens to shoo off single drops, but this was quite a large drop from QXC. And now this bio is trading with the queens. However, there is so many queens here, this drop is forced away. That bio was trying to trade, but that was just an absurd amount of queens and transfuses from Snute. QXC is building up a large army supply right now, but so is Snute, and Snute's going to have this very scary army. 5 Ultralisk on the way for Snute right now. QXC is getting up a 4th base though, so trying to beat Snute in a macro game may be very challenging, but he does have the option to go for that. We see a planetary on the way. We see 2-2 finishing up for QXC, so he may try and push the chitinous plating. The +3 armor isn't done for Snute right now, so if he is going to engage these Ultralisk with just this bio tank, now would be the time to do it. Sensor tower on the way for QXC, getting ready to play that late game, wanting to not take too much damage from run-bys or things like that. We now see these Ultralisks, they're not quite as beefy as they used to be, so QXC is going to engage them, using these tanks in a great position right now. Snute can't engage these tanks very easily. Tanks are very good versus these Ultralisks and these Roaches, even good versus Infestors to sort of zone them out right now. QXC slowly deciding to push forward right now, trying to get towards that 4th base. Now, this is actually a position which can easily be cut off, but right now we see a burrowed Infestor. QXC might have just caught a glimpse of that, but his army may just be caught by this. These Infestors are moving in. Snute may throw infested Terrans on top of these tanks and then engage, or he may fungal the army. Right now we see this handful of bio killing off that one Ultras, pushing in towards the 4th base. Snute is either going to have to lose his 4th base, or he's going to have to engage us, and he's choosing to engage us, but this is a great concave for QXC. However, QXC was fungal growth there, and this is so many units for Snute right now. These Ultras, though, these tanks did a great number of damage to them right now, so all these Ultras in the red, this one tank may be able to pick off a few of them. No, they all do survive. Very weak. Snute will be able to heal them up. However, QXC getting off a great drop here, starting to shred drones right now. So far, 14 drones have gone down in this game, and these Marines are now trying to take a good position versus these Lings. So QXC, he traded. It wasn't the best trade in the world. Snute with those burrowed Infestors sort of caught QXC off guard there. However, QXC is certainly not out of this game. He's macroing up. He's got a great deal of production right now. He's reproducing those tanks. He's getting up to his 3-3. Picks off an Ultra there. Very nice. Snute is having to wait for more Ultras to pop right now. These burrowed Infestors are sort of just in QXC's face right now, though, so he certainly needs to start sniffing them out. He's always scanning right as they're leaving his field of view. Now, 5th base on the way for QXC. QXC, a player not afraid to macro up right now. Snute's pushing in. This is quite a great army from QXC, though, so it's not going to be easy for Snute to push in on this, as this is just Roach Ravager, which does lose value the later the game goes on. Snute, though, does have an upgrade advantage right now, as Carapace is keeping his units alive. Snute, though, not too much fungal to sort of lock this bio down, so QXC will be able to kite versus this army. Siege tanks, once again, dealing a great bit of damage to these Ultralisks right now, and this is a large amount of Marauders and bio from QXC. However, this is a big army from Snute is pushing in. This is so many Marauders, though. QXC is kiting back. He's got these siege tanks in this planetary to lock down this position, and he is not dead yet. Snute tried to go for a killing blow there, but QXC has managed to hang on, losing a sensor tower, losing a few units, but ultimately that was not the worst trade in the world. He's hanging on. He's got his +3 attack, so he will deal more damage to Snute's units now. And QXC is going to begin replenishing his army. He's got a 5th base, so he's in no way choking out. Snute's trying to push into this planetary down south here. QXC may actually lose this. Oh, QXC moving in. A massive fungal goes down for Snute, but this is a large amount of medivacs for QXC. This is actually an absurd amount of medivacs. 11 medivacs. All those units were just healed despite being fungaled. And QXC saves the planetary here. Snute looking to go for a run-by, however. This wall is there. These Lings are just going to opt to take down this wall, take down the production from the look of things. QXC trying to fight this army now. Snute's army isn't that large right now. It's not necessarily too scary. Yes, there's a large amount of Infestors, however, right now, right in front of QXC's base, there's only a Ultras, a handful of Ravagers, and some Lings. Quite a few Ravagers, as a matter of fact, however. Ravagers aren't exactly as scary. Snute, more Ultras on the way, so he's replenishing these, but QXC is taking them down. He's not sort of just being rolled over here. He's putting up a great fight right now. We see these SCVs are forced to pull QXC, keeping them alive and actually taking a supply lead in this game right now. Picking off these Ravagers for Snute. I believe they were sort of rallied wrong there. Very well done by QXC. Now Snute's actually opted, he's opting to get upgrades for both his units. He's getting that missile attack for those Roaches and Ravagers, so Snute always wants to be able to remake those. Ultras are on the way, and all these Queens are still here. They're spreading creep, but really they need to engage with the Ultras so that Snute can spam those transfuse and keep them alive. Snute sort of rebuilt his scary army, but QXE still does have the supply lead right now. He's got an absurd amount of bio, almost 20 Marauders, 33 Marines, and this will trade with Ultras very well. Snute burning some transfuses there, saving those Ultras. We saw QXE going for another drop. Right now we're looking at a bit of a split map scenario right now. QXE going for a drop here. However, both players really only have one more base to claim right now, as QXE sort of opted for the middle southern base as opposed to his top base, unlike Snute. QXE, though, may need to start looking towards taking that extra base, and so may Snute. Snute has been on 4 bases for a long time. He's starting to mine out. So both players not on the best economy. Snute's just securing his 5th base. So QXE's actually been on a sort of a better economy than Snute throughout this game, as he sort of prioritized that expansion and got away with it. We see this drop for QXE, trying to kill off this Ultra, bouncing around between these bases right now. These units shelling that Ultra, just trying to harass Snute, sort of split his attention. These 3 Ultras are actually out by themselves, picking off a good bit of bio there, but this is enough bio for QXE to be able to clean this up. Snute burrowing that 1 Ultra, that's not something you see too often there. But now QXE is pushing on into the 4th base of Snute. He's cleaning up these Ultralisks. That is plenty of bio, which will shred through them. And now Snute is losing his 4th base yet again. He's got his 5th base up, however. That is quite a large loss. These medivacs do need to get out, but a great fungal growth by Snute. They're managing to shred most of them. However, the one with units does possibly get away. Just getting away is the fungal does not kill it. So that one medivac very lucky, but QXE not wasting any time here. Pushes and kills off the 5th base. Snute has almost no economy right now. QXE needs to boost out of there, bleeding off a few units in the process. However, if he sort of solidifies now, he should be in a great situation, as he does have a 5th base. He has his 4th base, whereas Snute has neither. Looking at the resources lost, QXE is behind. He's almost playing like the Zerg right now. He's just simply trading so much with his great economy. Snute pushing in, this could be the final push right now. QXE trying to hang on, great fungals going down for Snute. Corrosive Biles destroying these tanks, destroying a large portion of this bio. However, this is a significant amount of beef for QXE, but it's starting to wear through right now. Snute pushing on to QXE's base, but QXE managing to push him back right now. He's just got so much production on the way. He may get these 2 Ultras, which is very important, so they can't be transfused, as every bit of damage done to Snute right now is really important for QXE, as Snute can't really afford to be replacing these expensive units right now. Look at the income down there in the bottom right. 700 minerals income for Snute, whereas QXE has just not been at a super high amount, but he's sort of been at a steady amount. A planetary is going to want to be built here for QXE, but no, he decides to lift off as it already was scouted. So QXE's own economy is starting to falter right now, but he's certainly still in a better situation than Snute. However, his trades might have put him in a very tough situation, as he lost a large amount of those medivacs. He doesn't have a super high amount of army supply right now, but he is trying to get some more damage done. He does need to deal more damage to Snute, because if Snute gets his macro back on track, QXE will be in a very tough situation. Resecuring his 3rd base, however, there's a burrowed Ling there to stop it. This is where QXE is sort of being stifled right now by Snute, denying any further expansions, which QXE certainly needs, as he has certainly been spending a lot of resources in this game. Pathogen glands on the way for Snute. I guess he sees he has a large amount of gas right now, so he may want to build more infestors as the game goes on. We see this Ling being cleared up. QXE is going to have a bit of a boost in his economy, but this 3rd base will not last long. Maybe 1,000 resources there. So QXE is indeed floating this other command center. Never actually landed that CC. These Lings for Snute are going to go down. They're not going to get anything done. They're going to be trapped. Snute does burrow them, forcing QXE to burn scans. QXE dropping at the top, forcing Snute to cancel another expansion. But that's not the end of the world for Snute, as he has gotten up these extra bases. He's gotten up his 4th base, which is still relatively fresh. He's gotten up this fresh 5th base. ambitiously going for his 6th space. Right now QXC is just trading here. However, great fungals for Snute. Is going to pick off 5-6 Marauders here. This is massive for Snute there, as that is a large amount of resources that QXC cannot really afford to lose. QXC losing another full medivac right there. He never did manage to land this command center. That one Ling is being a massive pain right now. And it looks like Snute's going in for another push. These Marines are going to trade with this Ultra, but they need to pull back that Ultra, killing off a great number of them. Those Marines do lift off right now. Snute's sort of saying, well, I want to push your 5th base or your 6th base, but it hasn't exactly landed yet. However, this is a large fight going down right now. QXC collapsing on top of Snute's army. This is actually a great engagement for him, as Snute was sort of just in a line there and sort of got engaged from the side. Now look at all these tanks for QXC. He's been rebuilding this count. This is going to allow him to push in right now. QXC, though, not securing his base while this is going on. It's very important that he gets that up right now. But if he can deal more damage to Snute and kill off Snute's army, I guess it doesn't matter. Broodlords, though, out for Snute, starting to sort of put the hurt on QXC. This has sort of put a timer on him. QXC needs to make something happen, and this has sort of forced his hand. Snute's got a scary amount of units right now. So many infestors here. Broodlords are going to be coming up with this army, and this is going to make life for QXC very hard. A large amount of bio is not going to cut it anymore. His 3rd base is being harassed. He might actually lose that to these Lings. Adrenal Gland +3 attack Lings, dealing so much damage here. Now these siege tanks for QXC deal so much damage. However, it doesn't matter versus Broodlords. Fungals go down for Snute, not getting the most amazing connections there. This may actually allow QXC to engage this ground force, but as long as the Broodlords are here, there is a timer on QXC. The Broodling's starting to pick off units right now. An Ultra and the base is going to go down for Snute right now. This is not a bad trade for QXC. However, a large portion of his army does get fungal there. Snute moves in for the engagement. QXC bleeding off a large amount of units. These tanks shelling on top of this army. The Ravagers, not too many of them left right now. There's 4 tanks. However, the Broodlords stay there. The Broodlords are alive, and now QXC is in a very tough situation. He saves these tanks, which is very nice. However, he's losing his last mining base, but he resecured this one, so it is not his last mining base. This is critical for QXC. He needs to turn this base into a planetary if he can afford it. He needs to keep it alive at all costs. He's going for drops right now, trying to make something happen, but Snute has enough ground force to deal with this. And Snute is taking an army supply lead right now. QXC has lost 8,000 more resources than the Zerg. This is not something that's too common unless you're playing versus someone like Snute, who is such a cost-efficient player. Now, Snute has not built up a large corruptor count, so there's, as a matter of fact, no AA to protect these Broodlords besides the Queens. So QXC, if he does make a few Vikings, he may be able to take an engagement. However, these Queens and Broodlords, it's going to be very tough for him to deal with. He may just have to abandon the spaces. This is a scary amount of Broodlords. 7, they're just going to tear down this planetary. QXC trying to repair it. This one Viking, I don't think that's going to cut it right now. A large amount of Marines for QXC, as he does want to engage these Broodlords. However, there is fungal for Snute, and this could simply end the game right now. QXC is trying to engage, however, these units are distracted by the Broodlings. He is forcing this army back, though, but a massive fungal growth by Snute, weakening this army, and now it's just going to die off very quickly to these Broodlings. However, he's trying to push through QXC as this bio-stimming, trying to get on top of these units, trying to pick off these Broodlords, but the Queen spamming transfuse. One of the Broodlords does go down, but GG gets called as QXC lost his base to the north. Snute engaged that, took that out. I guess it never became a planetary. However, QXC was so broke, he was focused on trying to deal with those Broodlords, and Snute just managed to hang on. They're playing so cost efficient, 1 out in the end. If you guys have enjoyed the cast, feel free to leave a like, feel free to subscribe, as I'm always trying to put out more StarCraft 2 content, original great games like this here. It's always great to see a player like QXC sort of just come back, even play. He's not been practicing 7 days a week like a lot of other players do, but he certainly put on a great game. There is, I guess, Marine Marauder pushing is something that you don't exactly forget there. Very well done by QXC, managing to go to toe-to-toe with pro players despite being retired. So, as I said before, if you guys enjoyed the cast, feel free to leave a like. I shall see you guys next time. Thanks for watching.